All right, everybody, we are back with some more tips that can help you perform better in the CrossFit Open next year. We've got a whole year of training before we get to test ourselves again in 2027. So last week we talked about two things. We talked about just setting your priorities and kind of where fitness lies in your priorities. And then also we talked about overtraining and undertraining and kind of the pitfalls on either end of the spectrum there. So today we've got two more things I want to jump into. And as we kind of start to stack these on top of each other, our hope is that it starts to develop a path and a plan so that you see some gains this year. All right, so the first area of improvement today is going to be based around our nutrition, right? So nutrition is super important. It's the bottom of the CrossFit pyramid. You've definitely heard us talk about this before. There's a lot of reasons just longevity-wise and health markers-wise why we should be paying attention to our nutrition. But even outside of that, if the only thing we cared about was performance and your scores on the whiteboard, nutrition can help us out in a couple different ways. First of all, if you are carrying excess body weight, you've got some body fat that could go away, these workouts are going to be harder for you. A lot of these movements, it's really just a matter of your strength as a ratio to your body weight, right? And even in the CrossFit Open this last year, there's in each of the workouts, there were movements where this was the case. Box jumps, right? If you were lighter, you had the same springy legs, but you were lighter, box jumps would be easier for you. Pull-ups. If you had the same pulling power, but you weighed 10 pounds less, pull-ups would be easier for you. Burpees. If I made you wear a weight vest that was 30 pounds, those burpees would be harder for you, right? If you take the weight vest off, the burpees are easier. So just really practically, if you're carrying excess body weight, extra body fat that we could get down through our diet and our nutrition, those workouts would be easier for you to get through. The other side of it is that if you're fueling yourself with whole foods, if you're giving yourself a variety of all the micronutrients we need, all the vitamins and minerals that we need and that we get naturally through fruits and veggies, and just having a balanced whole food natural diet rather than kind of the American diet, which is so processed and kind of void of all those things. If you fuel yourself with really good fuel like that, really good quality fuel, you'll end up recovering better. So you'll recover better from your workouts. You'll sleep better so that you can build and repair those muscles. You'll have less inflammation overall. You'll get injured less often, have more energy so you can make it to more workouts, and less brain fog, and like all of these downstream effects just by fueling with better quality fuel. So even if you're like pretty lean and you're at a body weight and composition that makes sense, you still probably have some gains that can be made by just improving the quality of your food, so that you're like burning a little bit more efficiently and a little bit hotter when it's time to hit that gas pedal. All right, so there's a bunch of different ways that you can try to dial in your nutrition. If you go online, there's a million different opinions on the best way to do that. I would encourage you, don't get too caught up in the nuance or finding the exact perfect thing. That's the enemy of making improvement, right? We want to make sure that we're just making incremental little changes as we get a little bit better over time. The two things you want to be kind of controlling for is the quality of the food you eat and the quantity of the food you eat, right? If you are one of those super lean people who doesn't have to worry about, leaning out or anything like that, your play is going to be really trying to improve the quality of food that you're eating. You're going to try and eat more whole foods. You're going to try and add more variety of fruits and veggies in and stuff like that. If you have some body weight to lose, you're going to have to pay attention to the quantity of food you eat as well, right? Calories matter, and being in a deficit, a smart deficit, will help you start to decrease that body weight overall. Like I said, there's a lot of different ways to do this. The way that we are most aligned with and that we have seen really good results with is the 800 gram challenge, where we address both of those quality and quantity questions by trying to eat 800 grams of fruits and veggies a day. Potatoes count as well. I eat a ton of potatoes. But you try and eat 800 grams, you're getting your quality in because you're eating all of those good foods. And then also all of those foods are really calorically friendly. They're not very calorically dense. And so if you're already eating 800 grams of fruits and veggies, there's not as much room for the other stuff in your day to day. So we'll be running a challenge for that in April. If you want to jump on board with that, we'd highly recommend it. But you don't even have to start, doing anything super complicated. Maybe just try and eat one more serving a day or something like that, and get started that way. All right, so then the other thing I want you guys to think about this year as we train is the difference between training and competing. And so when you go into a workout of the day, I want you to think about, am I competing today or am I training for something today? And so I would make the difference be classified something like this. When I'm competing, I am trying to do the most with what I have today, right? I'm trying to get the fastest time on this workout that I possibly can. When I'm training, my goal is not to get the fastest time. My goal is a specific something else, some other outcome. So when I'm training, maybe my goal is to become more technically proficient at a power clean. Maybe I'm trying to increase my capacity on the toes to bar. So I'm going to hold on for a set of 10 when normally I do 2 sets of 5. Maybe I am trying to increase my capacity on the bike. So I push it all the way up to 70 RPMs. And when I do things like that, I know that that's actually not the way to get the fastest time today, but I'm trusting that in doing those things, it's going to pay off down the road. So when we get caught in the trap of competing every day, where we're just doing the most with what we have right now, we're missing the opportunity to add skills to our bag, add capacity to our bag, so that the next time an actual competition comes around, we've got a bigger bag to pull from, right? So it's okay to sometimes just look at a workout and say, you know what, this is the day where I'm going to test what I've got right now and see where I'm at with it. That's great. And maybe once a week you do that, or maybe every other week or something like that. I would say that the rest of the time, I would try and identify one thing in the workout that I'm training for, right? And you can't train for everything all the time. I can't say, I'm going to get better at toes to bar, power clean, and my conditioning today. You can't do it all. So you've probably got to pick one, maybe 2 things and train for it, and have the mentality that I showed up to train today, not compete today. And so then you're not concerned with, where you land on the leaderboard, or, what your max lift was or whatever. If you're training, then the process of training is the goal. So my hope for you in this 2026 training season is that you focus on a few basic things. Try and get that nutrition dialed in, just little by little, maybe a 2% improvement each month, can add up to be a lot. And then you should be training more than you're competing in class. And so I know it's fun to go wide open, but if you can train with a little bit more intention throughout the weeks and months, I think that'll add up so that when the open comes around, you'll be ready for anything and just super confident in your abilities. So hopefully these are 2 helpful things that you can work on. And we've got a couple more coming up. So stay tuned for all that.